What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Brojo and another episode of Dem Game Boys. I am John Dean.
I'm Ryan Freeman.
I'm Kien. We're filling in for Gil and Eli. So you got the shitty, quiet guy and the kind of chubby ethnicity.
Alright, well, we're going to jump straight into some video gaming news. Let's talk about that trailer we just watched first. It's a Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 trailer that got released earlier this week.
Alright, so I don't play Minecraft whatsoever. So I was fairly confused because I thought like the end game was like a dragon that you fight. But apparently it's like Minecraft Cthulhu.
Well, this is completely different. This is... Minecraft is its own thing. And Minecraft Story Mode is a thing done by Telltale that is a separate story in the Minecraft world.
Alright.
Telltale normally makes like their own separate stories.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I played through Season 1, and I enjoyed it, but at the same time, it was really like a kiddie, campy experience. It wasn't something that seriously grabbed my attention. But I mean, they planned 5 seasons of this thing.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, when they released the first. And so, I mean, I'll probably check out Season 2, but I'm definitely not getting it, like, on release. It'll be when it's, like, in the $5 on sale or something like that. Right,
so, yeah, the way I looked at this trailer, though, it just, like, I don't get... It felt like Minecraft was trying to be dark and gritty. And so that's, like, what got me.
That was the thing about Season 1, is... It was campy, but it was still kind of fun in, like, a childish way.
Right.
And the trailer comes off as, like, it being more of, like, a, oh, shit's going down now kind of thing.
Like, this seems like Lego Star Wars games for adults.
Yeah.
So, in my personal opinion.
I really like Minecraft. If I was a bigger fan of Telltale games, I'd probably give it a shot. But I can't really get into, like, the whole point-and-click adventure games.
That's my problem with Telltale in general. Like, they just released that Batman season 2 trailer, and it just doesn't collect me at all. Like,
it's not much of like a gaming experience, in my opinion. It's more of a cinematic thing.
Right.
And that's one reason why I do like them, is because there are times when I do want to kind of play something, but I just want to like sit back and not really pay a whole lot of attention to
like, I like quick time events in like action games.
I'm not a huge fan of it.
I mean, depending on like God of War's
how it does it,
like God of War's quick time events are fun because it correlates with the story. But like with this, like I don't know, I rarely play games. You guys know me, but like if I pick up a game, I want to be like immersed in it, and like Telltale adapts the shit I like. Like, I like Fables, and I like fucking The Walking Dead comic book, but, like, I have the comic books and shit, so, you know what I mean? So, like, I
mean, there is some Telltale stuff I like. Like, Life is Strange. Like, I randomly, like, really like that one.
That one is a really good game. Tales from the Borderlands is another Telltale game that had some news this week. Is one of my favorite ones, actually, from Telltale. And recently, Telltale said that they are not planning a Season 2 at this point.
Which is fine.
Well, it's because Season 1, in their opinion, is looked at like it's a failure. Which I disagree with.
Right.
It's one of my favorite, but commercially...
it did not,
it didn't financially do all that well.
And I'm going to go with this. It's like how Ryan has always told me. He likes his shooter games as a shooter. He could give a shit less about the story. So I think that's what most people's idea for Borderlands is. Like, unfortunately, Max isn't here to explain it, but he really likes the Borderlands series for their story and shit like that. So, like, it kind of... He says he really liked it, which is understandable. And I like it enough where it's Borderlands, but it's its own thing. Within the Borderlands universe, so...
I think part of the problem with that it probably had is the same thing that happened to the original Halo Wars and why the sales on that were so poor. I don't know about Halo Wars 2. I haven't looked on the sales on that one. It could be good. But it's kind of like you're taking a risk because the target audience is kind of different because you're probably not going to attract a lot of people from the original series just because the majority of them are probably going to be that first-person shooter player. So branching out into something like this probably isn't that appealing to them. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to capture an outside market that probably really doesn't have that much experience with the games, maybe.
Yeah,
so I think the RTS games.
Yeah.
I know that the Minecraft Season 1 story mode did actually do pretty well.
Yeah, but
but you're taking a license like Minecraft, which is
for children,
astronomically huge.
Yeah.
And it's for children.
Yeah.
I know a lot of adults play it, but for real, a lot of kids play Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
So,
I definitely see story mode Season 2 being another big success.
Right, and it already looks like it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Batman, the Telltale series Batman was a big success, and the fucking last episode was glitchy as shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys played it, but I played it on Jay's Xbox. It is so bad. I don't know why. I think maybe they just didn't have time to fucking, patch things up. They're like, we have to release it because it's set on a certain date. But that's my only thing about, these episode-to-episode releases, that I feel like you're on more of a schedule, tighter schedule to get it out. So you're going to have bugs and things. And I think that's one of the problems with some of the earlier Telltale games, too. Like, the Jurassic Park one, that was glitchy as shit. And so was the Back to the... the Back to the Future one should have been, my favorite one, because it's Back to the Future, and I fucking love Back to the Future. But, it was so glitchy as shit. And, some of the Telltale games are still like that, though. If any Telltale game I'd like to see them give another stab at is Game of Thrones. That's just personally me.
Yeah.
I found that game to be fun
I think
enough.
the Game of Thrones universe works better in a cinematic setting more than it does in an interactive.
Right.
Obviously, with the extremely failed actual Game of Thrones game.
Yeah, that game was not... Yeah.
That game was trash.
Ooh.
But since we've already talked about Borderlands, segue into this next point, the Borderlands developers, Gearbox Studios, have announced a new shooter that they are working on, and it's codename 1v1. They haven't really given a whole lot on it. There's been, I believe, a gameplay footage kind of thing that's been leaked. What do you guys think about that?
Did they also do Battleborn?
I do not remember. I believe so.
Alright, so that's gonna be my number one thing is if it doesn't turn out I'm gonna check real quick if they did Battleborn, because if they did, because
I'm 98% sure that they did.
Yeah, Eli swears up and down that Battleborn is a really, really good game.
I like Battleborn.
Yeah, Battleborn is a really made by Gearbox, right?
Yeah,
so it is.
So my issue with Battleborn is that it came out at the same time as Overwatch.
But it's not the same game. I think
it's not. But it was marketed in the same way that Overwatch was. And so a lot of people compared the two of them together.
Right, and Blizzard's always going to win out.
Yeah, and if you look at it from a character-based MOBA, Overwatch is most definitely a better game.
Yes.
It was much more complete, it looks nicer, it runs nicer.
Right.
But Battleborn is a much more intricate game in itself, too. There's more progression throughout the game.
And so, that's my thing. If it's a first-person shooter where it's a competitive shooter,
Well, this one's looking like it's more like a Borderlands kind of shooter.
Because when you say 1v1, my thing is shit.
That's just what it's called right now.
Because I was gonna be if they do another Battleborn thing where they're we're gonna make a Call of Duty-esque game and put it out during Call of Duty time, you're gonna lose out. That's hands down. No matter how shitty Call of Duty gets, people are always buying it.
To be fair to Call of Duty, the online multiplayer is very polished.
Right.
Yeah.
You can talk shit about the campaigns as much as you want.
I mean, that's what I mean, but I don't really play
that's the thing with Call of Duty is it's basically the same game being released over and over again.
Right.
But that's what people want.
It gets
out of that
better
Call of Duty.
I'm not saying it doesn't get it's not
definitely
bad.
made to be a lowest common denominator game.
Right, and so that's what I mean. Because when you put people that's the thing. Gearbox is a very smart and very creative company. I mean, who would have ever thought Borderlands would have been like that? I love Borderlands. Borderlands is one of my favorite games.
I think
on the Xbox.
Just looking at Borderlands, I think a lot of people had the feeling that game would be successful, especially just from the look of it.
Yeah, that comic book art style is really appealing.
Yeah.
it's just aesthetically pleasing to me, and I like as much as people hate cell shaded shit. I love cell shaded.
I think it looks good.
Right. Like so, I mean, I hope it's good.
I mean, I'm excited for it. I like a lot of Gearbox games, so. And I played the shit out of Borderlands.
Yeah, and they're really good with shooters. So.
Right, so hopefully it's good. Like, I have high hopes.
And then the next thing is Microsoft recently has been teasing a change to the achievement system for Xbox Live. They haven't really given much on like what could possibly change, and so I was going to segue that into like what would you guys think that maybe you'd want to see changing in the achievement settings for Xbox Live, or do you even care about things like gamer score and achievements?
I mean, like, I've never on my old profile on my Xbox 360 before it got hacked and I had to make a new one, I had a really big achievement score, but I've never cared about getting achievements or anything. I was always just that kind of guy that would just play through games, and then if I got achievements as I was playing along, cool, but I never like specifically played the game like I'm going to go and get this achievement so I can complete all the achievements for this game and stuff. So, I don't know. I really don't care about achievements.
So, for me, I want the achievements to be a lot more intricate than just, like, you beat this level, so you get this achievement. Like, I want you...
If you go deeper into the achievements, some of them are a lot
right.
more
Most games are, like, you get achievements for, like, completing the game's story, and then there are, like, challenges or segues inside the game that you have to actually work
see,
to
and that's what I mean. Like, I would rather have like more of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
If they do that.
But that's not Microsoft's thing.
Right.
With the achievements, that's the game that sets
okay,
up
that's
the
game.
achievements.
Okay. So
a lot of what Microsoft or what people think Microsoft are planning on doing is like less about like the people that have a ton of achievements being in the spotlight, because there's a segment in the like what's going on.
All right.
That displays like people getting really rare achievements and stuff like that, and they think that that's going to be boosted up a little bit for people that don't have as many achievements.
Right. So
which
would work out perfectly fine. Like personally, like if there are YouTube channels that are just devoted to like getting achievements and shit like that, like which is cool and fine. And I was just talking to someone about this because she found out I did a podcast, and they're like, so, are you like Marco Pilar? I'm like, no, not at all. But like I said, like it's impressive. I like to watch people do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally don't have the fucking. I don't have the patience for some of these achievements.
In my high school and college days, I did a lot of achievement hunting, and then every once in a while, it's almost shameful. Like every once in a while, I would go and I would play a game specifically to get achievements.
Right. Because there's
some of them are pretty easy.
Right. Fallout New Vegas, I got all the achievements on. That is literally the only game.
Yeah.
And then I looked.
And even like still today, like sometimes I'll be like, oh, that looks like an achievement I can get real quick, and I'll specifically load up the game to go get achievements. And since I'm constantly replaying games, I'll be replaying a game sometimes just for the sole purpose of getting a few more.
Does PlayStation do that same kind of spotlight
PlayStation
thing?
has. They have like a news feed of people like that you're friends with that get new ones, but they don't really have like a. You can go to like a new what's going on.
I see. So I like that a lot better.
It's different.
Yeah. See, I like that format a lot better.
Yeah.
Like to show your friends instead of like if you're a person who's like I'm a gamer and you see people.
I like both, but I'm not huge into achievement or trophy hunting now.
It just kind of makes me feel like shit when I see people like they're like miles ahead of me. I'm like, alright, that's cool, fine. You have no life.
The next thing is Darkest Dungeon, which is an Lovecraftian RPG. It's one of my favorite recent releases, actually, from a sort of indie developer kind of situation. And it's actually coming to the iPad on August 24th, and I'm super pumped.
Do you have a way to record that?
Yeah, I totally could.
Okay, perfect.
I would actually love to record it sometime. It's a pretty long game, though.
Okay.
And it's a bit of a complicated game, but I think that the touchscreen format for the iPad will do it really well.
See, I think a lot of games now seem like it work better with touchscreen and things like that. Like,
it kind of depends on what you like to play. A lot of RPGs translate really well over
I was gonna say I have Knights of the Old Republic on my iPad, and that works really well on that.
Yeah, especially like turn-based RPGs too, because it's all just basically button tapping. And I think that the iPad would actually make a pretty good format for Telltale games as well.
Right, exactly. Like I think that like if Telltale decided to do that, like do that shit, like you could still have your games, but like I think that's the thing. Like I feel like I would play those games. It would allow me to play it on like a bus and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like so like, you know, there's not many buses where we live, but you know what I mean. Like, or if I'm in the fucking car with everyone and I'm just like, I don't want to talk to anyone. All right, I'll just turn on my disc. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about this because again,
is it turn based or is it?
It's sort of turn based.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, the way that the gameplay works is you have these pretty generic characters that you can enlist and buy them, and then you take them into dungeons and stuff, and you fight Lovecraftian monsters to find treasure and stuff like that.
Are they like warriors, or are they
warriors, mages, all that kind of shit? And the way that you keep progressing is that the characters are affected by the world and the monsters around them. It's a very Lovecraftian centered game.
So like madness meters and things like that?
Yeah, they can madness, they can become alcoholics, they can become drug dependent and stuff like that. Some of them can become fearful of certain things, and they'll be less effective if they have to encounter that certain thing in battle.
Right on.
It's a really intricate game. It's
I like
massive,
that.
too.
See, personally, I like... We've had this conversation, like, my all-time favorite kind of games are either fighting or turn-based strategy. Like, not turn-based strategy,
turn-based RPGs.
Turn-based RPGs. Because I don't know, like, I feel like I have to think a little bit more on my toes playing those games than I do, like, a shooter or a fucking, like, newer RPG where you're just like, run, jump, slash.
Yeah. Fallout 4 is getting a Game of the Year edition set to release on September 26th.
Fuck.
And that will be the full game, including all of the DLC and stuff.
Alright, so I'll be honest with everyone here. I found Fallout 4 not to be fun.
I didn't like it as much as Fallout 3,
right.
And I have a lot of gripes with Fallout 3 to begin with.
And their and I think a lot of their DLCs were bullshit.
Oh yeah, especially the first pack. The second pack was actually pretty good.
What was the first? Was that?
I believe the first pack was mostly like to do with all the crafting and stuff.
Right.
Like that.
See, I think that's a lot of horse shit.
Yeah, I had no interest whatsoever in the town building aspects of Fallout 4.
So I thought that was total horseshit. And then their expansion to the world, Jay and Max were trying to were arguing with me, not arguing, we were talking about it. I was just like, I don't know. Fair Harbor wasn't as fun to me as how they thought it was. And then Nuka World I thought was fucking dumb. And the only one I liked is where you could catch monsters and put them in a gladiator ring. Because I thought that was just enjoyable because it felt like Wasteland Pokemon. My
thing is I'm just getting tired of seeing Bethesda re-releasing games all the time.
Yeah,
I want another Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
So fucking bad.
That's my biggest fucking gripe on that is just the Switch has Skyrim.
Getting Skyrim.
A game that's 8 years old?
That's been released 17
times
already.
And it's just dude, you are beating a fucking dead horse by now.
People still buying it.
Oh god, they are beating off the dead horse with its dead dick.
Right, and so that's my thing. That's my thing about this is Fallout 4 gonna be the new fucking Skyrim where every other year we're gonna get a new Game of the Year edition where it's you can get this for the it's not called the Scorpio anymore, but for the new Xbox it's this is the newer one with the 4K edition and
the 1X.
The 1X, I'm like, dude, I don't.
I guess it'd be surprising to me if they did that because I don't know, everybody loves Skyrim and has nothing but good things to say about it. I didn't buy Fallout 4 because everybody I talked to said the same thing, which was not very good things about the game. So
it was glitchy as shit.
It's not as glitchy anymore, but it was definitely more of an uninteresting Fallout.
Right.
Especially following 3 and New Vegas.
Yeah, and see, I loved Fallout 3, so I didn't want anything to solely my love of that game.
I like New Vegas a lot more than 3.
I love 1 and 2. And then I don't really like 3 as much, but I like New Vegas quite a bit.
Did you not like 3 because of the way they changed the gameplay?
It's not because they changed the gameplay.
Okay.
It's because they changed how the story and the dialogue and stuff works.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for anybody I'm going to go into some detail here real quick, and I'm going to cut it pretty short. There's a guy on YouTube who does it's almost a 2-hour-long video of why he thinks Fallout 3 is not that great, and I agree with about 80% of what he says.
Okay.
And I'll bring up the main point that I'm going to say, and the guy that I'm talking about is H Bomber Guy. If anybody knows of him, he's great. I love almost everything that he does. He does a lot of video game stuff and a lot of social commentary stuff. But anyways, take the super mutants from OG Fallout.
Yeah.
They're the big bad guys in the whole game.
Right.
And they believe that they're the next link in the evolutionary chain.
All right.
And that's why they're out wiping people out.
Right.
And if you can advance your dialogue skills far enough, you can convince the final boss, you can tell him that can't be possible because super mutants can't breed, which is true.
Right.
So they can't even continue their genetic line. And you can literally convince him to blow himself up because this entire time they've been slaughtering these people for nothing. And that's how you can end the game.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And in Fallout 3, the super mutants go to just being this generic walking around the overworld bad guy thing that you have to shoot. Just another regular old fucking bullet sponge.
Right.
That's one of the biggest things that I have wrong with Fallout 3 is the world itself. It's so generically post-apocalyptically boring.
Right.
There's no character in it. There's nothing going on. And in Fallout 1 and 2, there is so much going on. There's so many different characters, and they're real. They feel like they could be real people in this world with a good touch of Fallout's classic comedic style. And that's why I really don't like Fallout 3, is because it's so shallow.
No, I get you on that. I never played 1 or 2, so I don't really have that.
Yeah,
and
I know a lot of people who haven't, because that's all PC days.
Right, because that was like a turn-based game, wasn't it?
It's more of like a point and click.
Point and click,
It's kind of like Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and so I never really got into that kind of shit.
Yeah, I've never played it personally. I've just seen gameplay footage of it and things like that.
To me, it's just much more of an intricate game, and it makes Fallout 3 seem so small.
You're right, and that's why I think I like New Vegas a lot compared to 3.
And again, a lot of the reason that I hate the smallness of Fallout 3 is because everybody acknowledges it as being the biggest and the best in the series.
Right.
And I'm like, you're all wrong. But anyways, the next thing is For Honor.
Oh my God!
Season 3 is coming up here soon. And the new characters they're introducing are the Gladiator for the Knights and the Highlander for the Vikings. And I know a lot of people hate this game, but I fucking love For Honor. I really do.
I'm going to explain this. I liked the trailer. I thought it was really cool. And I like the gameplay in it. I do. But at the same time, I just think it gets boring.
Really?
I do.
See, I love everything about For Honor. I can't say everything. I think the way that the game was marketed was wrong. If it had been marketed more as a fighting game,
right,
and less of a mass multiplayer shooter,
story,
that has no shooting in it, then it would have turned out better. And that's why I like it. The story mode's pretty shallow, but it's supposed to be a fighting game.
Right.
Story modes are always pretty shallow in fighting games.
Right.
And another thing that For Honor gets a lot of flack for is being a peer-to-peer server-style game. There's no big servers or anything like that. You're strictly running off of other people's internet connections and stuff like that. And it gets a lot of shit for this, because when you're playing these bigger, Dominion or Team Deathmatch style game modes, which I still like a lot, even in this format, you'll get hosts that will leave, or people that will leave, and then it needs to do a host migration. Right. And it breaks up the gameplay so hard.
So what was Season 2's?
I can't remember. The Centurion was one of them, and then I can't remember the other. I think it was the Shinobi.
Okay.
But back to the peer-to-peer issue. No, that's fine. Back to the peer-to-peer issue. what people don't realize is that this is mainstay a fighting game.
Right.
You need to run peer-to-peer for a fighting game because logging your internet connection to a server and then back to that person's internet connection and then back to the server and then back to yours lags a fighting game. And when you're talking about split-second frames being the decision between counters and combos and stuff like that,
fucking right.
You can't be having that risky server lag issue. And Ubisoft kind of knew that, and so they said, we're not going to do servers, we're going to keep this peer-to-peer. And people are pissed because these host migrations will take you out of the game and ruin that more than what some people say the game delay is. And my big argument is because I like the 1v1s like a lot more than I like the Dominion or the team deathmatch kind of stuff, is that I like that it's peer-to-peer a lot more. You don't get the host migration and stuff when you're playing just one other person.
Right.
Or even in like the 2v2 brawls.
Right.
That never really happens. And so that's why I really like For Honor. It's really great gameplay in a game that is just really misunderstood.
Right.
In my opinion. Like, yeah, I think that putting a little bit more into the game would have done a lot more for it too. But that's just kind of Ubisoft being like, we came up with a great idea, and then not like polishing that idea up a bunch.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. No, I get you on that. Like, I don't know. For me, like, you can only do so much for like you sold me. They sold the game. You know how they sold the game as this like fight for like your kingdom and shit like that. And that story mode was just balls boring.
Yeah.
So like for me, like the gameplay is fun. I'll give you that like 100%. But like I was dedicated to them saying it had a fucking bitchin' story.
Well,
and so
when I bought it knowing that it was more of a fighting game, and so I was much more into the competitive.
Did you wait later then
part?
To buy it?
No, I bought it right away.
You bought it right away.
I was super pumped when I saw gameplay footage for it. I was super pumped when I saw that they were introducing new styles to how it was going to play with the Dominion and Team Deathmatch. And then when they announced that there was this huge story thing going on, I was like, all right, that's like icing on the top for me.
All right, so yeah, no. See,
the story being super boring really didn't hit me that hard.
I saw that E3 trailer and how they explained. Like, that's the first trailer I ever saw. I was like, all right, that's cool. I fucking love. Like, I was like, knights, samurais, Vikings, all fighting each other in a death match for like superiority because of some evil wizard bitch. Yeah, let's fucking do it. And then I'm like, this is not fun.
I think the only thing that's really kind of brought the game down, scaled in my opinion, is just the lack of people playing it now.
Right.
A lot of that peer-to-peer issue shit has got people not wanting to play it at all.
Right.
Like, there's been multiple days now where people have completely boycotted the game.
Yeah, my friend
to try and get Ubisoft to actually listen to them.
Right. My friend Brandon got For Honor on game release day 6 days later.
Too, yeah.
He's like, yo, does anyone want to buy this from me? I'll give it to you for like $25.
See, I still love playing it.
Right.
And again, I think that's because I like the 1v1s and the 2v2s a lot more.
See, I've only played it a handful of times because I don't own it, but I know I have a friend that owns it. Like, so whenever I was over at his place, I played it maybe like 5 times total. I was going to buy it because he wanted me to buy it to play it with him, and then it ended up being kind of like a division thing where a bunch of people I knew that had it just stopped playing it after like a month.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I guess I won't get it then since I don't have anybody to play with.
Balled out too, and I was
a lot of the reason that the division died out quick is because you're quickly progressing through things.
Right.
Like there's a whole crafting and leveling up system, and it's all basically worthless the next time you get a new weapon.
Right.
Which is, it's just, and then you get into the dark zone and you've got the guys who've been literally playing the game nonstop since it released who can kill you in like 2 shots.
Right. So
it was, the game is really unbalanced, and that's why a lot of people broke off from the division.
That's very understandable. Like with For Honor, like that's cool. Like Centurions are dope as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Not Centurions, Gladiators are dope as shit. And I fucking love Highlanders, man. Dude, Highlanders are the shit.
Yeah, I like the new characters that they've been introducing for the game almost more than I like the ones that initially came out.
Holy shit!
That was fun.
Yeah. Fuck you. But, I get you 100% on that. What's the next story, John Boy?
The next game that I want to talk about is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is, again, sort of like an indie game, not really an indie game. It has no huge publisher.
Okay.
Or anything like that. And there's been almost no marketing for it. It's done by Ninja Theory.
Ooh.
And it just released this week. And it's not even a full price game. It's $29.99 right out of the gate. You can go download it. What?
Hack and slash?
It's a really interesting concept, actually. Ninja Theory made this game working with people that actually suffer from actual psychosis.
Okay.
And that's the basis for the concept of what's going on in the game. You're playing as a character, and I've been playing it for my channel, and I don't want to give anything away because seeing it or actually playing it is the best way to experience it. And it's trippy as fucking balls.
Okay.
You play as this character who's walking through what seems like some sort of really Norse mythology influenced land, and she can literally like see things. She has psychosis and is seeing this stuff that's not there.
So she's crazy.
Or presumably isn't there. It's not necessarily crazy.
Okay.
Like the psychosis is like an actual mental thing, mental illness that like causes you to hallucinate like in a day-to-day kind of lifestyle thing.
Jesus Christ.
Like you're not necessarily crazy, but you're just seeing things that aren't there.
Okay.
It can drive you crazy.
You're hearing things that aren't there too. Yeah, it's definitely something that can drive someone to insanity.
Okay.
And that's a lot about what the game is about too. And people have been raving about it since it came out. And with no publishing, no marketing whatsoever, except for one trailer that released, I think, about a half a year ago now.
Yeah.
And people are already talking about it as if it's a Game of the Year contender. And I am totally on the same page.
But do you...
Yeah.
I played through... I did a half an hour for episode 1 when I played it, and then I had to go to work.
Right.
And I did nothing but think about the game the entire time.
Oh, wow. You worked 12 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I was like... I literally sat at work with just like, I really want to just go home and fucking play this game.
I'm gonna throw this around with you on that whole game of the year thing. It comparatively though, because it doesn't have a publisher and you know how Game of the Year shit works.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it?
Do I think it could take it? Solidly, no. I don't think it would take Game of the Year awards like full on.
Right.
But
it could be a
I
contender.
Think the fact that it's even like considered for the like a nominee, basically.
Right.
Like it's not winning the Oscar, but it's being nominated.
Right, and see
is
that's
insane.
Right, that's awesome. So
I mean, we get a couple every once in a while of small marketed or even small developed games or indie games that get nominated for big awards. But Game of the Year, that doesn't happen very often.
No, that's totally understandable.
And I love how like personally done this game is, and I want to see more stuff done like this.
All right.
It's a really there's been a lot of controversy going around because they didn't do any pre-release codes or anything for reviewers and stuff.
Okay.
And so a lot of reviewers quick ran through the game real fast to get a review out, and they either missed a bunch of stuff or got a bunch of misinformation out on the game. And so that's been a little bit of a hiccup
so I'm gonna point out there, like I don't think every game can get like that pre-release. You know what I mean?
I like reviewers being able to get pre-release codes.
I get you that
because
100%.
Bethesda's been doing this now since Doom got released,
right?
Where they didn't send out pre-release codes because I can't remember what came out before it.
Fallout.
It might have been Fallout 4. But they sent pre-releases for it, and reviewers just shit on it.
Right.
And they didn't want them shitting on the game before it came out, so they didn't send out pre-release codes. So everybody was like, do I buy it? Is it going to be good? What's going on? Because nobody's reviewing it before it comes out. All the reviews are coming out after, and then reviewers have to give a really rushed review so that they can get it out before consumers are going out and buying it.
See, that's totally understandable.
But again, this is a really small-time game, so I can kind of understand why they didn't. But
and to be fair, I don't go by reviews for shit.
I don't either. I usually like to read up on a game.
I go by their Let's Play. Mm-hmm. Like, if their Let's Play is really good, and, like...
See, I don't do that because I like to experience my game as I'm playing it.
Which is totally... Because you are actually a video game.
Yeah, and I do
I 100%... But for me, a casual video gamer like myself, I look at the game, and if they're rage quitting, I know I'm not going to buy it because I'm going to be 10 times worse.
Mm-hmm. I used to buy based off of demos when those were still a thing.
Yeah, I did a lot of that
anymore.
too.
Well, I play a lot of video games. I'm kind of in Kien's boat though. Like, I'll watch like an episode of 2 of Let's Play, and I'll get my basis off that. I won't watch the whole game.
If there's if there's a gameplay trailer for something, I like watching that. As long as it's nice and short and doesn't like give anything major away.
The reason I say this about why I like Sea of Thieves are still in production and in development, but we watched at least a good hour and a half of gameplay.
Oh yeah,
demo gameplay.
But that's just a multiplayer-based game.
I know, but
yeah. Well, like they
but
didn't
you know what I mean though. Like that's what I mean though. Like I can look at that and be like, this is what interests me. There's certain. That's why I didn't get Street Fighter V on my laptop. Actually, is because I fucking watched gameplay on it, and I'm like, it's pointless. And like. Unfortunately, like, this just sounds shitty, like, when we were talking about, like, what fighting game we were going to buy at Walmart, and, like, I had a choice between buying Injustice 2 or getting Mortal Kombat XL. Or Tekken. I would have loved to get Tekken. Unfortunately, I didn't like the gameplay of Injustice 2. There was just something about it, just watching someone else play it, and I'm just like, well, okay, I don't have as much fun playing as superheroes, because it's NetherRealms, and NetherRealms is known for fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Like, I was like Mortal Kombat.
Alright, well, the next thing that I have on the list is that the Nintendo is being sued right now by a company called GameVice over the Switch's design.
What?
And they are demanding that the Switch stop sales and production because it looks too close to a tablet that they released already.
Interesting.
And
I think I remember hearing something.
They're talking about the tablet when it's connected to the Joy-Cons. And I think it's ridiculous because they have this tablet thing that has joysticks and then an A, B, and an X and a Y in the same spot. Buttons, basically. And that's what they're saying, that Nintendo has basically stolen their design.
It's such a basic design.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, that's why I think it's a really bullshit lawsuit. Yeah. It's a tablet. They all look the same.
Yeah, anybody could have come up with that idea. You got a tablet with joysticks on the side, and you got
that could have just been an extra appendage for your tablet.
Well,
that's what I mean. Like,
that's the thing, is that the Joy-Cons come on and off.
Right.
And I think that's going to be Nintendo's biggest hit at this, is that this tablet that GameVice has released is a tablet with joysticks and buttons on it.
Yeah.
They don't come off.
What I mean is
isn't that kind of what the gamepad for the Wii U is like, though?
Basically.
Like a tablet with joysticks? But
that is just...
So Nintendo could easily just sue them back.
But that Wii U gamepad is just like a monster to play with.
Well, the Wii U gamepad 2 is just an extension of the Wii U.
Right.
Like, there are some games you can basically use that screen as a TV screen, but you still need to have the Wii U console.
Star Fox remake.
That Star Fox
we
remake...
Don't speak of that.
That Star Fox remake is actually a pretty good game if you play it 2-player.
Yeah.
Because if you play it 2-player, one person controls the ship, another person controls the aiming with the guns.
Which is fine.
But if you're playing one player, you're controlling the ship, and you're aiming with the fucking gamepad. And it is monstrously bullshit to control that.
But back to that. Like, didn't Nintendo and Sony have this weird thing going on, too, with the fucking, remotes?
They
did. With Sony's Move and then Nintendo's Wii controllers.
So you got shit like that, and I'm just kind of like...
Yeah, it was pretty much just basically consensually decided that Nintendo can't market motion controls alone.
Right. See, and it's just kind of shit. That's the shit that it's kind kind of like the irony of this story is that they were doing that shit about that. Now they're being like quote unquote sued for that. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's
such basic.
It's so
concepts.
minuscule.
I think people should have been more upset that those Move controllers look like stupid fucking dildos.
Right.
The fact that they were doing motion control at all.
Right, exactly. So, like, that's where I stand. It's just like, companies sue other companies over the fucking pettiest shit.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb,
and
in my
it's
opinion.
and the only thing it's gonna do is just hinder something coming out.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of the point that they're reaching at now. It's either they're going to get some money from it, or they're going to hinder somebody else with technology they already have.
A lot of people think that the reason Game Vice is even deciding to do this because most people are under the impression that they're going to get destroyed if they actually bring this to court. Because they don't have anything to stand on with it.
Yeah.
Is that Game Vice is doing this either as a way to get money from Nintendo or to get free advertising.
It's the free
It's not necessarily free advertising.
It's advertising. It's just
because
to get their fucking
nobody's ever heard of fucking Game Vice
right,
before,
so like
and this bullshit fucking tablet that they made.
So like you're gonna have people Google your shit and then press either on an image or just on your shit ass website.
They just want the 5 seconds of fame that IGN's going to give them for reporting on this.
Pretty much.
Oh, IGN.
Oh, God, how much we hate you.
There's no love for Kien.
It's just all love from Ryan. I love IGN.
I don't actually hate
nowhere.
IGN. I just think they've become a really boring company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they bought out half of the media outlet.
Yeah. Them and Machinima.
Yeah, have just bought everything.
Yeah,
they don't even.
But Machinima, if you want to throw somebody over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that.
They become a company that doesn't do their own shit anymore. They just buy out other smaller people and let them do their shit.
And
then
watched.
Then fucking take the money for it.
Right. So I mean, back to the Switch is not going to be closed down.
Yeah, there's
even
if it was slightly at risk. Nintendo's made so much off of it now that
the Switch is
fucking balling right now.
Yeah, it's selling
like
circles
crazy.
Around what the Wii U did.
Yeah,
so.
well, easily.
I'm sorry. Nintendo's biggest thing with the Wii U is you shouldn't have called it the Wii U.
Exactly. I mean, when you market it as basically the Wii 2, then that's what you immediately did to kill it.
Yeah.
Alright, and then the last thing that we have for news is that there is a first look video coming up on August 21st of Battlefront 2's Space Combat.
Okay, this got me interested.
Right.
Yeah, I saved it for last because it's the thing that's got me the most pumped.
Hold on, I gotta channel something real quick.
Don't be Jay. Don't fucking be Jay.
10 out of 10!
God damn it.
The E3 trailers for Battlefront 2 got me so pumped.
Right.
Yeah, because
the game looks great.
The first Battlefront was so disappointing to me.
Oh yeah, majorly.
If I wanted another fucking Battlefield, I would have just fucking played one of the older ones.
Everyone's gonna give me shit about why I bought the first Star Wars Battlefield. It was because of Anna Kendrick.
I bought the first Battlefront because I found it sitting in a $20 section and was like, fuck it, I got friends that still play it.
Yeah, that's what happened with me.
So you never initially bought it?
No, I didn't buy it right away. I played it for a little while because Chris bought it.
Right.
And then...
Oh yeah, shit, that's right.
And then didn't play it much, and I was like, I'll give it a fucking try. And played it for a little while and was like, this is fucking horse shit, and stopped playing. Because... I'm not really that big into Battlefield. I don't think they're bad games or anything. I like them a lot.
Right.
I played the shit out of fucking Battlefield 3.
Right. So yeah, no, where I stand with that is just kind of like, I think it looks awesome, and I hope it does. I hope it does. Do you remember Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation?
Dude, I had it on Xbox. I played it for
Heroes versus Villains.
Weeks straight, yeah.
Oh, dude, if they
running around as Darth Maul and shit.
If they're able to redo that, because they tried to do that in the new Battlefront, and it was just shit.
I just want to see them bring back the original game mode from Battlefront, where you're capturing the command posts and stuff.
Yeah,
that shit was
Galactic Conquest.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, loved that.
And I just love hearing droids saying Roger, Roger.
But what do you guys feel about this Space Combat potentially.
I think it brings something. It brings a different feel to it.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited because one of the reasons I do like Battlefield is for vehicle combat.
Yeah, I like Star Fox minus the furries, so let's do this.
Well, so if we can take what Battlefront 2, old back in the day Battlefront 2 did, gameplay wise, and then mix it with Battlefield's kind of vehicular mayhem bullshit going on, I think
if they can do it well, it could be amazing.
The most disappointing things about those Battlefront DLCs with the space combat was that lacked what the Battlefront 2 did with space combat, where you like flew onto their ship and like went in there and like jacked it up.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Right, and see, that's the thing, like...
Yeah, like blasting my way into a fucking loading bay was the best thing ever.
I think that EA realized that it's EA that does this, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
EA and DICE. EA
and DICE realized how much they fucked up. Like... with a marketed franchise,
you could kind of see them realizing that, because I will give it to them. The DLCs they released for it were really fun.
Right.
Like the Death Star DLC is awesome, and the Rogue One DLC is really fun too.
And Jakku.
Right. So like, I will give them that they learned.
Oh yeah.
And so that's what I'm hoping for, is that like they learned their story and they learned from fucking up the first time, and I'm hoping that it's good. Like, when the first Battlefront came out, I was just like, oh, nice. I remember playing this when I was younger, and I was playing, and I'm like, maybe it was the nostalgia, or maybe this is shit gameplay. I can't really tell.
Well, one of the things that made me so excited for this game is the return of classes.
Yeah.
That makes me so excited. Instead of just customizing your character, I missed the classes.
Yep.
Because all the classes were, like...
The classes is what made the gameplay.
Right.
I mean, you could pick to be a sniper, and then you wouldn't be able to just, like, pick up a different gun.
Right.
Or anything
You had
like
to choose, like, and so, like, that's the thing that what makes that fun to me, is that, like, all the classes had their own little perks and knickknacks. It's the same thing, like, with the people who made Battlefront 2 for the Xbox and PlayStation, made that Lord of the Rings Conquest game. And that's what made it fun. Like, doing different classes makes shit like that fun.
That game was not fun. That game is glitchy as hell.
It was glitchy, but I did still enjoy it.
It is fun to me. To me, I thought it was fun. But, like, that's what I mean, though. Like, you have shit like that, and if you're able to win me over by that shit, like, you can win me over by nostalgia. I'm like, I am not gonna lie. You can win me over by nostalgia of a game that I've once played.
Yeah.
But don't fuck me over and be like, oop.
All I know is, like, if they do show in this space battle gameplay trailer they're putting out, if they show you being able to, like, fly into the enemy's, like, Star Destroyer or something and run around inside of that, I'm going to buy the game.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be sold right
and
there.
And talking about Battlefront 2 kind of segues us into the topic that I wanted to discuss.
Yeah!
And that is that all of the DLC that they are planning to release for Battlefront 2 has been announced that it's going to be free. Everyone's just going to immediately get it.
I see.
Now, the thing that... I like that a lot, but the thing that they're doing to make up for the profit value of said DLC...
I swear to God, if it's microtransactions.
Is microtransactions.
Everybody has
in the form of
now.
Basically loot crates.
Okay.
And so this is kind of happening in a lot of games, and so that's what I wanted to talk about. How do you guys feel about things like microtransactions in video games?
Personally, I don't give a shit about microtransactions if it's for cosmetics and shit like that.
Yeah, as long as it's not pay to win, I don't care.
That's what a lot of people are still wondering about with Battlefront 2, because they haven't announced it's just going to be...
The first Battlefront was majorly pay to win.
Yeah.
Right. And so that is my personal thing about that, is like I don't like when Max and I were playing Elder Scrolls Online, most of the like microtransactions were for like get this cool pet or get this cool
it was like cosmetics and shit, and I was like, alright,
that's cool. Like,
that was another thing about For Honor that was really pretty bullshitty, is that in those new game modes, the Dominion and the Team Deathmatch, you have a gear system, and that gear isn't just cosmetic. However, you can only use it during the the game modes like Dominion and Team Deathmatch. You couldn't use it in the 1v1 brawls, and you couldn't use it in... But they had so much of a gear system that people found out that it was going to be somewhere over $1,000 worth of microtransactions to buy everything, and it was going to be like, I think it was like 7 years worth of playing to unlock everything through grinding your way through.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
I almost wish they would do this like the only time I've been okay with paying for extra content is when The Witcher 3 did it, where all the cosmetics and like new gear and weapons and stuff like that were free, but then for like the expansions,
like
to
the story expansions,
you have to pay for it. I'd almost rather them do something like that, like new multiplayer maps you pay for and things like that. But like the guns and stuff, like you can just download those for free.
Okay, see, I can understand that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty weary of it because we've been in a state where full price games have been $60 for a good, basically a decade now.
Yeah.
And the profit margin has definitely changed in the market quite a bit.
Yeah.
And companies have been using DLC to make up for that for the most part.
Which
now.
I'm alright with as long as you're not releasing an incomplete game and then requiring
Yeah,
it by
exactly.
DLC.
And that's the thing, like, as the value of the dollar changes, people don't want to see games go past $60 because $60 is already really expensive, and games take a lot of time, they take a lot of work, and that's why DLC is nice for companies because they don't have to worry about like manufacturing costs.
Yeah, they're not making any more discs or anything like that. They're just letting you download something off that.
And that's why I think microtransactions are definitely at least not going anywhere.
Oh, no.
But I do definitely prefer that if it's going to be in a multiplayer-based game, that it's not like a pay-to-win system.
Yeah.
So I have one thing about that, though, about DLCs in general. Don't have your shit on a fucking disc already, and then you have to buy it. If it's on your disc, let it be part of the goddamn game.
Hashtag Destiny.
Hashtag Street Fighters. We have had this conversation, like...
Yeah, a lot of Street Fighters microtransaction stuff was basically cosmetic stuff, too. But it was... it's ridiculously priced, too.
Right. It was bullshit, that's what it is.
It was a load of money for, like, 5 different costumes. And they were just, like, slightly offshoot colors. Street Fighter V's microtransactions are bullshit.
Right. It just... That was, like, honestly, that... Even fucking Tekken Cross Street Fighter, like, the thing that was shitty about that is that they were on the fucking, they were on the disc. They were preloaded on the disc, but you had to unlock it by paying for it.
Yeah.
And then the characters were on the fucking screen.
Yeah, you just couldn't access them.
You just couldn't access them.
That's kind of how Destiny's expansion packs, I think the first
Which
two
was
were.
horseshit. Comparatively to, like, how Injustice works is that they made an extra slot afterwards.
Yeah.
For it. Like, that's the thing that pisses me off about shit like that. Like, don't, like, DLCs are fine for anyone who gets it. Like, I get DLCs for my Steam games.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely prefer single-player based DLCs over anything multiplayer.
Right.
Yeah. There's very few
depending
games,
on, like, I don't know, like, the zombie maps are fun for me.
Yeah, like, map packs are alright, as long as they're not overpriced.
The thing I don't like about map packs is that it creates this barrier between people who have decided to buy the new maps and people who didn't.
Yeah.
So now you've got game modes where a majority of people are playing this new game mode with the new maps, and then you've got this small group of people who are like, I don't want to spend $12 for fucking 4 new maps.
That's one of the things that pissed me off about Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
Where I think they might have patched it because it doesn't seem to happen to me as like anymore. But it used to be you'd go into a game lobby and then it'd be a DLC map that gets picked and then you get kicked from the lobby.
Yeah, that's something Call of
I'm
Duty
just all like,
does
just
every once in a while.
don't put me in the lobby if you know I don't have the map. Like,
They've done they fixed that and they've separated it out. So if you own the DLC, you're in like separate groupings. So you'll only be match made with people who own the same DLCs you do.
Like, which again, like I have mixed feelings on DLCs in general. Like, like okay, so I'm gonna bring it up because we literally have it in our hands. Mortal Kombat XL. Originally, these were the characters at the bottom. Fucking Predator, Alien, Jason, Goro, Cyrax, and Leatherface were all pre-bought DLCs.
Yep.
All right. For me, like that's understandable. But then you have fucking games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. When it first came out, they had Gold Edition, and you could download and pay for Cyclops and all those guys. Like, I understand it, but at the same time, it's just like, it's kind of horseshit.
Yeah.
Like the what I think is horseshit about this is like, I understand having like fucking Leatherface, Jason, Predator, and Alien to be DLC characters, but you've already significantly had Goro and the Cyrax, so I think that's bullshit.
Well, you know, the thing I like about Mortal Kombat, at least, is that the other characters are pretty cheap.
Right.
They're not crazy expensive or anything like that. But I don't know. Again, I like DLC more than the idea of microtransactions.
Right.
Because it's usually more than just like a loot system or a gear system or something like that.
So. Although, speaking of fighting games and DLC, there is one thing that pisses me off way more than microtransactions, and that is exclusive pre-order DLC content depending on where you pre-order it from.
Yeah, that is utter horseshit.
Pre-order content, in my own opinion, is bullshit altogether. And that's because I don't like the idea of pre-ordering games at all.
Right.
Because you create this deadline for when a game has to come out.
Yeah.
Whether it's finished or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I would much rather someone delay a game than release it completely unfinished and broken.
My thing about that shit is, like, take the fucking people who bought, like, the Arkham Knight game on fucking with the pre-order and shit like that. Like,
not with pre-order,
but you know what I mean? Like, Europe's pre-order was way different than ours.
Yeah.
It's shit like that bothers me.
Well, I mean, look at Oros from Pokemon.
Right.
Omega fucking Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I mean, Europeans got fucking a big steel book and a keychain and a figure, and we got 200 in-game Pokeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
Suck it, America.
It was pretty dumb. But anyways, that's been another episode of Dem Game Boys.
Woo!
I am John Dean.
I'm Ryan Freeman.
I'm Kien Ibanez.
Max Cooley.
Later, Gators.